I might have changed my mind on Yanagi. If you guys saw my previous video, you would know that I spoke about skipping Yanagi for lighter because of the different values they'd hold or lack thereof for my account. I'm in a unique situation compared to most where I lack stun units on my account, leaving me with only access to Ambi at the moment, but I literally have every DPS unit in the game so far, making Yanagi not a necessity for me. This still hasn't changed, and lighter is still the best choice for me because he will benefit my account so much more. But after playing Yanagi over 10 plus hours, she might be one of my favorite characters in the game. Now, before we get into the video, I just need to let you guys know that all of the footage you are seeing is coming from the Content Creator Experience server, so keep in mind that everything is subject to change before the character releases. Alright, like I mentioned in my previous video, Yanagi's gameplay reminded me a lot of Soldier 11 because they both require a level of execution to play them. This is the primary reason why I love Soldier so much, because her gameplay provides such a unique experience for me that no other character currently does, and I was definitely hoping for more characters like her to join the game in the future. Well, Yanagi gives me a taste of that in this patch with her ability to stand switch, but the execution required to use her is definitely a lot different in comparison to Soldier. With Yanagi, her core gameplay is just like any other DPS agent in the game, where she primarily uses her basic attacks to deal damage, but her depth as a character comes from her two stances, Jogen and Kaigen. Jogen is her default stance that provides a 10% electric damage increase and an increase to her anti-interrupt level during her basic attacks. Kaigen is her second stance that provides a 10% pin ratio increase and an increase to her interrupt level during her basic attacks. If you guys can't tell what stance you are in, you have a few ways to check this. You can either look at the color of the accents of her hair to tell the difference, look at the gauge under her health bar to see which color is highlighted, or you can look at the attacks she performed when using her basic attacks. Definitely be mindful of what stance you are in, so you can definitely take advantage of the buffs that they apply. Now, where the execution comes into when using Yanagi's stances is that you need to be able to comfortably rotate between the two simultaneously while understanding when to stand switch, what triggers stand switching, and the bonus it provides. For instance, you primarily want to be in Jogen stance due to its comfortability it provides with the increase to your anti-interrupt level when basic attacking, as well as because of the universal application that the electric damage buff has. You would then switch to Kaigen stance to provide the pin ratio buff to shred through your opponent's defense, while also having the chance to interrupt any moves they perform in this stance. I will say though that this stance shines a lot brighter if you have Rena on your team to amplify the pin ratio buff with her own, but we'll talk more about that in a future video when we go over Yanagi's team options. Now, what triggered Yanagi's stance switching is her special attack, EX special attack, chain attack, and her assist follow-up. You definitely want to keep this in mind because as you are playing her, you're going to be constantly using all of these moves in her kit, requiring you to know when you are switching so you know what buffs are being applied. Also note that when switching to a different stance, the buffs from the previous stance will remain for an additional 8 seconds, which you are easily able to tell based off the gauge under her health bar. You'll see that both diamonds will be lit up with their colors, and you'll see slowly after the 8 seconds go away, one of them will slowly fade, letting you know that the previous stance buffs are no longer active. If you made it this far into the video, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Comment down below how are you guys feeling about Yanagi if you're going to be picking her up. I got a lot more Yanagi videos coming out on the channel, as well as just more future content coming surrounding Zenless as a whole. So be sure to have the notifications on so you're locked into all the content I'm going to be dropping. But I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. Let's get back to the video. Now, depending on what move you stand switch with, provides you some unique bonuses for Yanagi that improves her combat potential. If you switch stances with her special attack after the 3rd to 5th hit of her basic, she activates a move called Swift Routine, which is an attack that slashes at the enemy and speeds up her stance change, while also allowing her to block enemies' attacks while active. Think of this like a quick parry for Yanagi that prevents her from taking damage but also allows her to deal damage. Swift Routine also allows Yanagi to immediately follow up with her 3rd basic attack of the current stance that she is in, allowing her to shortcut to the basic attacks that deal the most damage in her combo. We love when a character has something like this within their kit because it heavily increases their DPS potential when played correctly. She does something pretty similar to Swift Routine with her EX special attack too, but she enters a new state called Shinran Banshu. This state allows Yanagi to follow up into her 3rd basic as well, but off of anything in her kit while it's active for 15 seconds. This is a lot stronger than Swift Routine because that only triggers once while Shinran Bonshu lasts for a set duration. What makes this even stronger is that this state is tied to her EX special attack, which triggers Yanagi unique disorder effect, Polarity Disorder. Polarity Disorder is a unique form of disorder for Yanagi that deals 50% of the original disorder effect damage to the target, plus an additional damage up to 3200% of Yanagi's anomaly proficiency. This is where a chunk of Yanagi's damage comes from and is one of the reasons why she's able to compete with the DPS output of agents like Jane Doe. Isn't it insane that we already have another DPS unit competing with her? Yanagi's kit is super interesting and has insane potential, honestly making it really hard for me to now wanting to skip her. She's truly one of the few characters in Zenless that feels as if her potential is almost endless. She reminds me so much of a fighting game character because it feels like the more time you invest into mastering her kit and stances, the more she rewards you with her damage and disorder capabilities. This is what made me fall in love with playing Soldier 11 early on, and is why she's still one of my favorite agents now, but Yanagi might have taken that concept for a character in Zenless to another level. Now before I get ahead of myself, the comparisons I made with a fighting game character to Soldier 11 and Yanagi are very similar, but they are definitely on a much smaller scale because the skill ceiling for gacha games are much more confined. This doesn't take away the fun factor that Yanagi provides though, which that alone is honestly what makes me really stressed and provokes me to potentially risk my pools for her because I know I'm going to miss how fun she is. She's also a part of my favorite anomaly attribute, Electric, which I've been dying to finally invest into, but none of the current units in the game grabbed my attention to finally invest into it. So with all that being said, am I still skipping Yanagi? Honestly, I think the smart thing for me to do is to skip her for now, but aim for her to be the first character I grab on a rerun. This is because again, the lack of having a premium stun unit for the teams I want to invest into is hindering me a bit when it comes to clearing in-game content consistently. This is causing me to miss out on rewards that I definitely need for my account, so it honestly just makes the most sense for me to invest into a unit like Lighter. Lighter is also a unit I've been very excited about anyway, as he's basically modeled after the iconic fighting game character from the King of Fighters franchise, K-Dash, and if you guys know anything about K, you know that he's one of the coolest and most badass fighting game characters to exist. That alone makes Lighter worth the investment for me, but he's also going to work extremely well with units like Soldier 11, who I've already heavily invested into, and the potential DPS queen that everyone is waiting for, Miyabi. Just because I'm skipping Yanagi first though, doesn't mean any of you guys need to. I know a lot of you that commented on my last video are actually new players that did miss out on 1.0 release, so you don't have access to some of the premium DPS units that we all had access to, like Ellen Jo and Jian. If that's true for you, then Yanagi is a perfect character for you guys to invest into, so you can start building that second team that you really need for in-game. I've also been made aware that a lot of you guys picked up units like Qingyi and Caesar when their banners were around, making Lighter pretty useless for your accounts at the moment, which is fair. How the meta is currently going right now, you don't really need a lot of stun units on your account, you really just need one good one, so if you already have Qingyi or Caesar at your disposal, you're honestly set for a couple patches until the meta shifts in the future. All in all, grab whoever you like, but more importantly, grab whoever benefits your account the most to your liking. These are just my overall impressions so far on Yanagi, which honestly I love her. But how do you guys feel about her? Based on all the content that you guys have seen for 1.3 and Yanagi specifically, do you plan to pick her up once her banner releases? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be definitely making some more future videos regarding the character, going over some team comps and even clearing some content within the game to show you guys some live gameplay with her to better understand how the character properly works, as well as to give you more of my perspective on how I feel about the character, as well as my overall progression within Zenless. I appreciate all you guys and love and support you have providing for my videos. It means so much for me and I can't thank you guys enough. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and always believe in you that believes in yourself. I'll see you guys in the next one.